This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. These are 8 business and healthcare stories that we're following today. We'll give you sort of a combination of both for those that really find each healthcare and business in their sweet spot. So bear with me, and thank you very, very much. The first story we're following is an Alan Condon story at Becker's Healthcare on the debt of huge health systems, and he had a ranking of 43 health systems by the long-term debt. The fascinating thing was the number of health systems that had $20 to $30 billion in debt, and it's only concerning because most of those systems are not that much larger than that. Obviously, HCA is huge and huge profitability and can afford that debt. Some other of the large systems really can't afford that debt, and I found that story somewhat fascinating. The second story we're following today is, of course, that the markets surged on Friday on really positive news from Google and some other of the sort of tech companies. That was almost unexpected after Facebook had less rosy prospects than anticipated. So the markets surged on Friday. The third story, the markets are also pointing up today. We're always careful when we say that the markets are pointing up because it often doesn't last the entire day, but we'll see how it goes today, but so far so good today. Fourth, there's a couple other stories in Becker's Healthcare about systems building what are called micro hospitals. And that's not something that I had really expected to see so much building on, but there's a story about WellSpan building a micro hospital. There's a story about another system building a micro hospital, the Lovelace Health System. You know, generally 5 to 15 bed hospitals in relatively more mid-sized to rural communities. And the concept being they can be built for not that much money and staffed for not that expensively. So that's another story that we're following. A fifth story that we're following today is Intel keeps on taking it on the chin as it has morphed into the commodity chip making company. It fell another 8 or 9% on Friday. Just a challenging time for Intel. The sixth story that we're following is we saw that, that Darktrace, brilliant cybersecurity firm out of the United Kingdom, England, what have you, Great Britain, has signed inked a private equity deal to be sold for $5.2 billion. And just for anybody that's counting at home, 5.2 is a lot of bling. That's a lot of money. Another healthcare story that we're following, really, 2 more I'll touch on very quickly is UC Davis moves to trim its workforce. And again, this is just on the side of the times of health systems are trying to keep themselves margin positive or get their operating margins close to zero or in the positives. That's that. Another story, Hoag Health System hires 2 oncology leaders from Cedars-Sinai. And again, in terms of the business of healthcare, if you're a serious system, you sort of have to be on the oncology business in a serious way. It's such a big part of the cash flow and revenues and the needs of health systems today. Similarly, Rush signed a deal with MD Anderson Cancer Center to strengthen Rush's oncology programs. Heading back to the business side for 1 second, a couple other things I'll note. I think we might have already noted that Snapchat knocked it out of the box this weekend, up 27% on Friday. It's the first time we've seen that for some time. And I think those are the 8 business and healthcare stories that we're following this morning. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you very much.